Good day, grade nines. This is topic 7, lesson 4. I'm on page 67 in your textbooks. Today we are going to be looking at how to record a credit sale. Just a reminder, credit sales meaning that the business has let the trading stock leave their building without having received the money from the customer. They are allowing them to pay at a later stage. So when a customer buys goods on credit, the goods are handed over to the customer at that point, even though the payment will only be received later. At the time of sale, the business will issue an invoice to debtor. Remember, debtor is someone who owes me money. The business will hand the original invoice to the client and uses the duplicate for bookkeeping purposes. So that is a clue for you to know that when we are doing transactions and posting to journals, and you see the word invoice, issued an invoice. So if the business issues an invoice, that is my source document that is going to be used. Okay, my source document is an invoice. So if the business is issuing an invoice, that means that someone owes them money, and that we are going to record it in which journal? The DJ. So my source document, remember, is an original invoice that I will issue to the customer. The customer gets the original invoice and the business keeps that duplicate. So the duplicate invoice is used to record in my DJ. So please remember that source document over there. All right, that will tell us that if I issue an invoice, I have to send it to my DJ. All right. Let's look at this example. Oh. Okay, so that's gone now. Okay, let's look at this example quickly. Transactions for June 2014. Lambden Traders issued invoice number 324 to J. Dulin for 9 pairs of sandals supplied at 186 Rand per pair. Okay, so how do we know that that is a credit sale, grade 9s? Well, if we look there, it says that Lambden Traders, so that's obviously the name of my business that I am working at, or that I am. So they issued an invoice. So issued an invoice is my source document, which tells me that this was a credit sale. So that has to be recorded in my debtor's journal. So we issued invoice 324 to J. Dulin for 9 pairs of sandals supplied at 186 Rand per pair. So that is my cost price, and then my markup, I will have to use my formulas to work out my selling price. Okay, so 186 Rand is my cost price. I have to use my formula to work out my selling price. If you turn over the page, we can see over there, Lambden Traders, that is the name of the business. We can see that this is invoice number 324. Who is it to? The date that it was issued. 9 pairs of sandals at 186 Rand. And then that is 1674. All right. So that is just an example of what an invoice will look like. If we go down on the page a little bit, we'll see the explanation of debtors. So we already know that a person who owes money to a business is called a debtor. So when goods are sold on credit to customers, that is when debtors are created. A debtor is a current asset to the business because the money owing by the debtor to a business must be paid to the business within a short period of time. So, debtors is classified as an asset. Okay, so here's just a little visual explanation of what's going on here. The debtor will place the order in person or telephonically or via fax or the internet. The goods will then be sent to the debtor together with an invoice. The duplicate invoice is used to record the credit sales in the debtor's journal. So a duplicate invoice is my source document used to record credit sales in the debtor's journal. The debtor's journal is posted to the debtor's ledger. Okay, we'll get to that later. So debtor's ledger, that's basically an individual record of each debtor's account. So the debtor's journal is posted daily to the debtor's ledger, and then the debtor's journal is posted to the general ledger at the end of the month. So you know, like how we've been posting to the general ledger? Exactly the same concept. A statement of account is mailed to the debtors at the end of the month. So basically they'll receive a statement of how much they owe the business and when payment needs to be made by. And then the debtor will pay or settle his accounts in full or part payment. So if it's 1,000 Rand that they owe, they could pay 200 Rand or a part of the amount that is owed. And then once that money is received by the business, we will then record it in my CRJ. Okay, but this basically just explains the process. This video is going to focus on basically how to record a credit sale in your DJ. Right, so please turn to your accounting books. Okay, and we are now going to be on page 47. This is what a debtor's journal looks like. So if we look here, we can see debtor's journal of Trendy Stores. That is the name of the business that we are working in. Okay, and then we can see that it looks very similar to some of the other journals that we've had. So document number, day, debtor. So this is where we write the person's name who owes us money. And then sales and cost of sales. Remember, sales is my selling price and cost of sales is my cost price. And then this tells us that it is DJ1. Okay, please turn to page 72 in your textbooks. Activity 7.1 at the bottom of the page there. No, actually, hold on. Let's first look at this. Recording transactions in the DJ, then we'll get to the activity. Okay, so a debtor's journal is where all the invoices issued, very important over there, invoices issued, that is your queue, for goods bought on credit. So remember, if a customer is buying on credit, that means that the business is selling. Okay, so this is how to record a credit sale. Each debtor has its own account with its own special code. For example, D4. So that will tell us debtor 4 will always be Piet Pompies or whatever his name is. Okay, depending on what the business decides. This is so that invoices and receipts can be allocated to the correct debtor's account immediately. Okay, debtor's allowance journals, we'll get to that now. That is also posted to the debtor's ledger. Remember, debtor's allowance is for any goods that were returned or credit given back to a debtor for something that was not per their order or for damages. The debtor's journal shows both the sales and cost of sales values, so it's much like our CRJ. The balance of the debtor's journal is posted to debtors control account, which is an asset in the balance sheet accounts of the business. This transaction increases debtors control, thereby increasing the current asset. So just a little explanation here. Debtors control, so we are going to have a new column in our CRJ called debtors control. Okay, which means we will also have a new T account called debtors control. Debtors control is a control account for people who owe me money. Debtors control account for people, sorry, excuse the shortened language, control account for people who owe me being the business. So debtors control is classified as an asset. It increases on the debit and decreases on the credit. Okay, and remember, assets form part of debt. So debtors control will have a debit opening balance. Okay, this is an explanation for now, but I just want to show you that. So debtors control is a control account for people who owe me money. Why would my debtors control be increasing? Remember, debtors control is a control account for people who owe me money. So why would that account be increasing? Because people owe me more money. Why would debtors owe me more money? Because they bought goods on credit, which means the business made more credit sales. So my debtors control increases when I sell goods on credit. Why would debtors control decrease? Well, debtors control is a control account for people who owe me money. So why would my account be decreasing, my debtors control account? Because I received money from a debtor. So someone who owed me money now no longer owes me, which means that I received money. In which journal do I record money received? My CRJ. Okay, so this was just a bit of insight into what we are going to be doing, but let me take you back to the basics. Okay, so what we are focusing on now is how to record a credit sale in your debtors journal. Okay, Jay Doolan is one of Lambden Traders' clients. So in other words, Jay Doolan is a debtor and he has a good credit record. Doolan's account shows that he owes 2,445 Rand